her ex-sister-in-law for a wedding dress after the divorce. And so this again is how she's just kind of, well, you'll see. I'll stop talking. As I shopped with Olive, my bare left hand bugged me like a pebble in my shoe. Whenever the conversation forced me to reveal I was divorced, I sensed the slightest bit of recoil, as if I were tainted, or worse, contagious. I caught myself intentionally talking about VJ in front of the saleswomen. I even called him my boyfriend, which wasn't true, and found myself saying, my boyfriend, he's a doctor, inwardly rolling my eyes at myself. But I'd gotten swept up in what I'd forgotten, that just showing up and shopping for gowns puts you in a sorority, a sisterhood, a tribe, and that all these women rooted for you, approved of you, and took care of you. Welcome to the club. Being there, clearly not a member in good standing, made me feel like an outcast, then pathetic for falling for it, then angry for the fact I felt pathetic. The intellectual part of me could rationalize it, see it for what it was, but the emotional part of me thought of my childhood pony, Roscoe. Roscoe had needed a winter blanket when he was old and no longer grew a healthy winter coat. The other horses had turned against him in that blanket. They tormented him, yanking on the blanket with their teeth, even chasing him. In spite of their bullying, Roscoe had been miserable alone in a paddock, even when joining the others. I knew he would have rather been blanketless and wretchedly cold than alone. Belonging to that herd was everything. So I think, if marriage stopped being the model for people, like presented as the only model for grown-up happiness, I taught middle school for a long time, so I feel this very closely because I deal with so many young women who still think that. Even today, in 2011, they're fantasizing about their wedding day, but they never think about what that means. If marriage stopped being so ingrained in so many young women's brains that they couldn't be happy, whole, or complete until they were married, which I think propels far too many people to settle for unions that are very stagnating, think of how empowering and powerful a relationship could actually be, a real partnership could actually be. And that's where the character of the daughter, Gabriella, really became important and really a driver for this character of Cammie. Because Gabby, in her grief and betrayal over the divorce, rejects marriage outright, claims she's never going to marry. But then, in this misguided need to kind of protect herself, she's kind of rejecting love altogether. She doesn't say it outright, but it's almost like if she believes that she never loves, she'll never be hurt like her mother has been. So in this passage, Gabby and Cammie have a talk shortly after Bobby has left. Now, Gabriella, the daughter, is a champion debater. She's won a scholarship for it, so she'll refer to that. I'm never going to be where you are, Gabriella said, her back to me. No man is ever going to wreck me. I won't let him. She may as well have swung the lamp at my head. I was about as prepared for that action as I was for those cutting words. She thought I was wrecked. I stuttered, trying to form a coherent response. Before I could find any traction, though, she swiveled to face me. I blew my debate yesterday. I blinked. You think I'm wrecked? I sucked, she said, ignoring me. I blew it. Was she going to pretend she hadn't just said that? I blew it, she said. We were using gay marriage again for our affirmative rounds. Should have been a shoe-in. I went totally off topic, ranting about how marriage is a worthless, archaic institution that obviously doesn't work, and how instead of granting gays the right to marry, we ought to institute a complete marriage ban, not allowing anyone to do anything so damaging. For years, I've gritted my teeth as she'd prattle on about marrying Tyler. And now, I wanted nearly the opposite. If she didn't want to get married, I wanted it to be her choice, not an escape tactic, not a knee-jerk reaction to the cruelty she perceived.